California boasts the world's fifth largest economy and a Hollywood dreamscape powered by giants like Disney. Yet behind the numbers, cracks are forming. Disney's quiet decisions to halt expansions, relocate jobs, and redirect investments are sending shockwaves far beyond Anaheim. If even the state's biggest success story is rethinking its commitment, what deeper weaknesses are businesses trying to escape? The answer begins where the illusion of prosperity meets the reality of dependence, and what happens next could reshape California's future. California stands atop an economy worth $4.1 trillion, outpacing nearly every country on Earth. Silicon Valley churns out billion-dollar startups, while Hollywood studios export culture worldwide. Skyscrapers rise in San Francisco, and tech campuses sprawl across the Bay Area. The numbers paint a picture of unstoppable growth, booming GDP, global influence, and a reputation for innovation. Yet beneath the surface, the state's prosperity is more fragile than it appears. Economic headlines celebrate record highs, but the foundation supporting this success is more complicated, and the reality for many communities depends on far fewer players than the statistics suggest. Disneyland Resort sits at the heart of Anaheim's economy, employing around 30,000 people and acting as the city's largest private employer. The presence of the parks drives billions in annual economic activity, supporting not only direct jobs but also a web of local businesses, from hotels and restaurants to transportation and retail. Anaheim's budget relies heavily on tax revenue generated by Disneyland, with hotel and sales taxes from park visitors funding public services across the city. For Anaheim, Disney is more than a tourist attraction. It's the anchor that keeps the local economy afloat, shaping the city's fortunes year after year. Just beyond the theme parks, Disney's Burbank studios form the backbone of California's entertainment industry. Inside those gates, thousands of animators, editors, and creative professionals work on everything from blockbuster films to streaming series. The studio's presence stretches far beyond its own payroll, supporting a network of contractors, post-production houses, and specialized suppliers across the state. For every job inside the studio, many more depend on its steady flow of projects and investment. This creative workforce, often working behind the scenes, anchors an industry that accounts for nearly 10% of California's economy. Their livelihoods are deeply tied to Disney's ongoing commitment to the region. In 2021, Disney announced plans to move about 2,000 employees from Southern California to a campus worth $1 billion in Lake Nona, Florida. The company promised a state-of-the-art workplace for teams like Imagineering, with an aggressive timeline and relocation incentives for staff willing to uproot their lives. By mid-2022, some workers had already sold homes, enrolled children in new schools, and started over in Orlando. Others faced months of uncertainty as the opening date moved to 2026. On May 18, 2023, Disney abruptly canceled the project. The news arrived by email, offering individual discussions to those who had already relocated, but no broad compensation package was detailed. For many, the move had already cost them financially and personally. A year later, on June 18, 2024, a group of affected employees filed a class action lawsuit saying the company's reversal left them with unexpected expenses and broken promises. In March 2025, a judge dismissed one of the claims, and the legal fight continues. The Lake Nona saga left lasting questions about corporate loyalty and employee trust, and about the hidden costs when large companies make abrupt strategy shifts. Across the timeline of Disney's recent decisions, a pattern of calculated moves stands out. Investment announcements, project approvals, and sudden reversals are accompanied by careful language, each step recorded in public records, press releases, and city council minutes. Captions in planning documents describe company decisions in project briefs, and maps trace the flow of capital with arrows showing proposed expansions and pauses. On screen, a timeline graphic highlights key milestones: the 2021 Lake Nona relocation plan, the abrupt cancellation in 2023, and the 2024 approval of Disneyland Forward. Each event is sourced, with qualifiers drawn from public records that note whether a pause or a halt occurred during major investment shifts. The timeline avoids speculation, relying on official filings and meeting transcripts to anchor every claim. Labels clarify when a decision is based on company statements or on city documentation, reinforcing the difference between rumor and fact. This evidentiary approach frames the question not just as what happened, but why these choices were made in the first place. Tax burdens in California reach 8.84% for corporations, placing the state near the top nationally. Businesses navigating expansion face permitting processes that can stretch from 18 to 24 months, adding uncertainty and cost. In Anaheim, the median home price now stands at $950,000, making it difficult for workers to live near their jobs. Commercial electricity rates have climbed to 28 cents per kilowatt hour, more than double the national average. Labor regulations, including a minimum wage of $16.50, further increase operational expenses. Each of these factors shapes the calculations behind corporate decisions to stay, grow, or quietly look elsewhere. Anaheim's annual budget depends on $279 million in tax revenue from Disney, funding everything from police to public parks. Across the country, 789 headquarters exits and 77,600 lost jobs show how local economies everywhere are exposed when a major employer shifts direction. Today, California's future isn't defined by headlines, but by choices leaders make in the face of real economic pressures. The next move shapes whether growth or stagnation wins. What do you think?